not this one. Sorry. I think you ordered this read.ai.
It's not mine. No.
That's what, we'll remove that. Yeah, it is.
I haven't used these before. Do they help with the transcription?
Yeah. Little, but it's
Summarizes what was.
It summarizes, but
and also give the action points also and summarizes. So.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. Let's see. So I'll was there any questions initially just about the research? I should point out, of course, we're very happy and would like to share the draft report with you just to make sure we've captured, the realities of what's been shared and the situation in India. And then so it's probably a little ways away, maybe a few months, but that would of course be the case. But yeah, any questions, I guess, on the research at this point, or?
As of now, no question. Maybe we can start the interview. Maybe so clear. So fine.
Great, thank you. We may. My manager Tim Foster may join. He's currently in Bali in Indonesia for the World Water Conference. So I think he's probably got his hands full then. But if he does pop in a bit late, just giving him some context too. Good. So I might just it'd be great to know who's there in the room, and just to hear about your different roles and also the role the WASH Institute is playing with JJM2 would be great, just to some context.
Sure. So my name is Dr. Arumugam Kalimathu. I'm the executive director of WASH Institute, managing the entire organization.
Hi, I am Gaurav. I think we connected. I'm the Deputy Grants Manager here at WASH Institute.
Hi, good morning. I'm Abhesh Dasgupta. I'm also the Deputy Grant Manager at WASH Institute. So my role is primarily for the business development and program management, and also for the M&E functions of the
monitoring
and development.
Yeah. Excellent.
So, briefly about WASH Institute. It's a 16 years old organization. We majorly work on 3 major verticals. One is providing advisory support to government, and we are part of the program management unit in Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which look after urban water and sanitation services in the country. And similarly, Ministry of Jal Shakti, we have a team there since 2016. We have a team sitting there both on water side as well as for the sanitation side. Major support on sanitation, less on water in the case of rural side. So, and this is a major vertical. Apart from that, also we have a small technical support unit in 8 states in the rural side and 4 states in urban side. This majorly providing technical advisory to government and maybe developing SOPs, manual guidelines, those kind of activities we do. So it's we part of the team sits in part of the system ministry itself. That's a major role. And the second major vertical is we year round we conduct training and capacity building programs for mainly targeting more government engineers, government officials on various water and sanitation activities. Currently, with the USAID support, we are conducting training on Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, mainly on used water management, grey water management, black water management across the country. Almost we have touched almost all part of India, So that's a area which is supported by USAID. And the third major vertical is that. So part of it, we have a campus down south where we run formal courses as well. We have diploma courses, sanitary inspector, health inspector, water and wastewater management, and rural and urban sanitation. So these are 4 PG courses we are running. So then third major vertical is we implement projects on ground. So mainly, access to direct community interventions, access to drinking water, access to sanitation services, school water and sanitation. So these are the major verticals. We have 16 branch offices across the country, around 250 staff are working. Yeah. So briefly about
Wow. How many staff have you got? It sounds like you've got a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, so a lot of support, mainly all the international supports are coming from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, USAID, and Charity Water supporting our drinking water supply projects intervention with the community. We have adopted nearly 196 tribal communities in southern part of India, where we are going for pipe water supply scheme. So likewise, there are many international donors as well as local corporate donors also supporting us.
Mm.
Yeah.
And how many staff do you have?
Around 250 plus, 250.
Yeah, wow. Okay, significant. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So where are you calling in from today? I thought you were in Chennai, but it sounds like you're.
Delhi office. I'm calling from Delhi office. This is
Okay,
Delhi.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Delhi,
So because
great.
we closely coordinate with the ministry, maybe frequent visit to ministry, because the team sitting in the ministry, this is the support back end office for the ministry work. So yeah, so we have 2 offices in Delhi. So one is looking after the
Yep.
program, and on finance division. Yeah. So I'm part of Delhi office. New Delhi.
Okay, great. And could you maybe just elaborate how the WASH Institute interfaces with the Jal Jeevan mission? Just to clarify, would be great.
So we have a small team there in the ministry and supporting mainly on capacity building, and the ministry identified key resource center for training the community, right from community groups to different officials level. So maybe so we coordinate. So the team sitting there, they coordinate and facilitate. That's the work they do. Maybe there's a bigger team on sanitation side. It's part of Jal Shakti ministry only. Then maybe they do everything about Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. That's mainly on grey water management, black water management, solid waste management, all plastic waste management, all those elements are part of it. Because in Jal Jeevan Mission, not only access to drinking water, and also because by providing drinking water, you are generating more wastewater as well. So the grey water management also it is focused. So that kind of support we provide. So yeah.
Great. Interesting. Yeah.
And also we are the sector partner for Jal Shakti Ministry. So whenever there is a need, or maybe we participate as a resource person, any of guidelines that are getting developed, and we contribute to those kind of activities also we do.
So also we have contributed to the water quality monitoring and surveillance framework and Jal Jeevan Sarvekshan 2023, and assisted in drafting and release of several technical advice related to Jal Jeevan Mission.
Great. Oh, that's good. Okay, great. I'll start with the just jumping into the questions, but it'll be quite informal in the sense, we'll go where the flow of the conversation goes to a point as well, and if there's things that you think I should have asked and haven't asked, I'd be very happy to hear from that as well. Don't feel constrained, I guess, by the questions, purely by the questions, I guess. So I'd be curious, what changes you've seen. Sounds like on a national scale in terms of piped household supplies in India over the last 5-10 years. Where you've seen the trends and changes and the direction that it's heading would be great to hear. Yeah.
So
particularly in rural areas. So, yep.
Particularly for rural areas, because urban anyway. So water supply. Urban, it started long back, and so pipe water supply is very common in urban area. Particularly for a rural, it is what you call dreams comes true, like that kind of maybe earlier you see. So maybe if you see maybe 30-40 years back, and maybe the last 10 years, if you see the rural water supply scheme, there are a lot of gradual improvements. Earlier people access to open well, maybe far up distances, long way where water available, like. Then maybe then open well, then they shifted to hand pumps. Most of the rural communities in a drink water supply, very rarely you see the overhead tank with the distribution system. Majorly on borewell hand pump only. So majority of the cases, but so the particular borewell, and maybe it is 1 or 2 borewell in the village. Everyone they have to go for wait and maybe pump water. This kind of situation across the country, almost our rural water supply majorly dominated by hand pump based supplies. Maybe here and there 1 or 2 villages you have pipe water supply scheme, but majorly on. So now But the entire thing now changing now. After announcing the Jal Jeevan Mission, now access to, water supply, pipe water supply, that to your doorstep. That is but it's not only bigger, going to the street tap, you have about 100 families in a village or 200 families in a village. But street connection is easy. Maybe you go and maybe walk 500 meter or 600 meter, go and collect light. So now the government what happened? So they've gone for an individual household supply system. That was something, so never expected. Targeting, reaching of each and every household in the rural area through pipe water supply scheme was something was well appreciated by everyone, and maybe I said the progress is pretty good. Like if you see, maybe in the year 1999, 2019, the supply, the household supply in the country was only 16%. Now, almost now, so the government data indicates that we almost reached the 76%. Like, see the shift, So the huge shift happened. So that too, so that's what. So the government, the framework named FHTC, Functional Household Tap Connection. It is not tap connection. Functional Household Tap Connection. FHTC. So not only providing that water flowing in the pipe. So that was something amazing. So maybe, so it was never expected that this going to be the government going to implement such a speed way and dedicated resources available to go for scheme. Yeah. So now we are the steam is going on. The major challenges what we see, because India majorly we depend on groundwater. Maybe the perennial rivers are very limited. So that's what the surface water based systems are very limited. Still, we need to depend on more groundwater. That's what a bit of a challenge, but still, so on most of the cases, the multi-village schemes are getting implemented. Meaning, so with the surface water sources, say 200 kilometers away, 300 kilometers away, you pump water and transport all the way to the interior villages. Like, so that kind of cases, we are going for a multi-village schemes. Yeah. There are two types of schemes. One is multi-village scheme, and another one is individual village. Single village scheme. Single village schemes. The scheme within the village, you identify a source, and maybe it may be groundwater, it may be a pond, it may be something else. So you identify a source, and maybe you want that construct over a tank and make a distribution system. It supply target only that small village. That's called single village. Multi-village scheme in the sense maybe transport water far off distances and maybe covering so many villages. Like, so both kind of projects are getting implemented. Yeah. So, yeah.
I know that the Jal Jeevan mission has been a big part of that, but are there other specific policies or plans or institutions that have been really driving this change, during Jal Jeevan mission and before that you could share? Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I would list there are critical factors here. The major critical factors is the political, commitment. It's the highest level. The Prime Minister committed and announced the scheme. That is major. So it is almost then maybe the Prime Minister is shown interest, and maybe naturally it percolate down to all level. Based on Prime Minister's focus, and maybe there is a separate mission set up. That's what Jal Jeevan Mission, and maybe that so you have a dedicated resources available. So that's major. The major financial part is, it's a political will was there, is there, and also maybe dedicated resource also available. And maybe, I don't know, maybe if you compare, you can also run through the Jal Jeevan Mission strategy or guidelines. One of the amazing guidelines I ever read in my life, like such a wonderful guideline. Even it is not there in urban, but rural guidelines is amazing, I would say. Very clearly detailed out, maybe step by step what you are targeting. So amazing guidelines. Maybe even maybe if you compare with any other country documents available and this Jal Jeevan Mission guidelines, you yourself will accept that definitely is one of the top class and maybe down to earth focused guidelines, like amazingly drafted one. And yeah, so there we have policy guidelines. So you have a political will, you have a dedicated resource, you have a clear-cut strategy and policy in place. Then you have a mission to implement. There is a dedicated official, that is the mission set up, the highest authority from the government of India, and also maybe equally so the monitoring the state too, because it's at the end of the day, water sanitation services in India is a state subject. At the end of the day, the central government can come up with their policy guidelines, resources, but at the end, the state has to take up and implement on ground. So in order to monitor, in order to streamline the whole process, and also maybe the a lot of training, capacity building, orientation, sensitization, workshops, everything organized from the central government, and the support provided. And every year, the state come up with the annual action plan based on which how many villages they are targeting, what would be their size of the funding, and everything get approved by the central government. Then money flows down, and also with regular monitoring. So you have a MIS platform. So we keep reporting back to the government. So what is happening? How many villages reached? How many villages fully covered? So what is the status like? So complete ups and downs. So information flow happening like. So but maybe I would say that there are series of effort happen. Political will, then dedicated resource, there is a dedicated mission and excellent policy guideline. Then maybe appropriate training, so set up the right officials with a full team of members. Then maybe conducting regular training, orientation, workshops, and meetings, conferences for the state to understand and implement on ground, and regular monitoring, and also data management side. So it's all in place. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, sounds very comprehensive. I'm curious, when you see some states, the better performing states and the ones that might be lagging, in terms of how quickly they're able to spend the money or how quickly to roll out the schemes, like what are the kind of factors that distinguish the well-performing states and the ones that might be lagging a bit? Are there particular things that you've seen, consistent factors around that?
Yeah. So there are, so because as I mentioned, at the end of the day, the local, the state government, state subject, and maybe the priorities within the state, maybe so some state maybe no, so that variation always going to be there, but maybe water is the basic amenity, so everyone definitely need water. That too, the government is giving money to go for household connection. This is an opportunity for all the states. All the state they maximum try to capture this opportunity, take the money, and try to implement the scheme on ground. So even then, maybe there are areas. Some states are very proactive. Already they are in top of the list. Maybe already the coverage level is pretty good, and maybe adding this, so they're easy to reach 100% coverage like. So yeah, there are certain states. So there are certain states. Naturally, there are challenges. You have ground dependency on too much of groundwater. Even groundwater also, you have a lot of quality problems. You deep in ground. We know that India majorly we face a problem of fluoride, arsenic, iron contaminations, and salinity is the major issues across. Some few locations even nitrate contamination as well. So majorly, so this fluoride is a major problem, and hardness, water hardness is another major issue, high level of TDS and things like that. So maybe that makes, maybe then that state has to go for, there is no possibility for you to tap groundwater in that particular area. Then you have to go for multi-village scheme or long way to go to find appropriate source and transport. Then it takes the time to implement the scheme. Takes more money, so it takes time to implement. So that's how the lacuna is because of that reason. Maybe the challenges on ground in implementing the project. So yeah. So almost there are few states already declared 100% coverage, particularly for almost all union territories already achieved 100% coverage. For example, Goa, Andaman Nicobar. So Haryana, the state of Haryana, state of Telangana, all are achieved 100% coverage. So like there are states like Kerala, Rajasthan, West Bengal, slightly below the average. So still, because lot of water quality issues there. So they have to
Mm.
tackle groundwater. For example, Kerala, because mostly people use shallow well and maybe it's a hilly terrain. You have a plain, hilly, mixed topography there. And so that's kind of local challenges also there in addressing. Yeah.
How are they addressing how is India addressing those water quality challenges? Is it about source selection or treatment or both those things? And yeah.
So the government of India advises that maximum possible in case you encounter arsenic or fluoride, so you avoid that particular groundwater sources, go for a comprehensive pipe rod scheme, go far away, even the surface water sources far away. So spend money and transport water. That's what major. If nothing is possible, so no way it is possible, we have to depend on that source only. Then maybe you need to go for a treatment, appropriate treatment, removal of fluoride or arsenic removal process. Like it's a combination. Majorly try to avoid those kind of sources. The first advice. In case nothing is possible, then you have to go for a treatment system. That's how it's given. And and also maybe it's not only so the part of the supply scheme. If you look at, there are 5 key elements, right? One is already it's a functional household tap connection, not just a tap connection, functional household. So you have whether the pipe is giving adequate, pressure, whether it is reliable, it is providing, water daily. So what frequency it is, all key elements in part of this policy guidelines. It's not only laying pipeline, then you get water for 1 day, then another 5 days you will not get light. So and also if you are close to the water tank, your pressure is more. If you are away from the tank, your pressure is low like. So government try to avoid all those things, ensure that the pressure, whether you are close to the water tank or away from the tank, so the pressure is same like. And adequate quantity. With the government norm for rural is around 55 liters per capita per day. So that's the norm for the rural. Per person should be 55 liters. Okay, adequate quantity. Then whether the water is quality water you are delivering, whether it is meeting, we have a standard IS 10500. It is meeting the standards prescribed by Government of India. Then whether it is adequate pressure, whether the community can reliable, this scheme is reliable, every day it's giving water. So all those parameters is kept in mind while implementing the scheme and also while evaluating the scheme, while monitoring the scheme. So all those aspects and part of this, yeah.
That's great. And I'm curious, in Zambia and Ghana, some of the challenging populations where they're very, very remote, where it costs just a lot of money to get even a hand pump, let alone a piped household supply to those remote locations. I'm blessed to have been to Ladakh, for example, and I imagine, how some of those remote communities like that, or maybe even less remote, like how is the funding or the policy or the approach responding to those very, very remote often last to be served? Yeah.
Here is the major thing is that so the capital cost for a scheme. So it is the central government and state government has to share some portion. That is the norm. So central government gives a certain percentage, say maybe 70 or 80%. Then the state government responsible to putting the remaining 20% or 30%. That's what matching. So that's the major part. So in terms of capital cost, it's going from the government. When it comes
15 finance.
And so we have also maybe in the Gram Panchayat level, so there is another the fund availability, not only Jal Shakti Ministry giving money under Jal Jeevan Mission, there is another scheme called 15 Finance Commission. There are also little resources available at village level to maintain, manage, or maybe do a little groundwork in the village level. So money is not a problem, money is flowing down from the government. So only the operation maintenance falls under the hands of the village Gram Panchayats. So they have to take care of the maintenance, management prospect. So taking care of the electricity, the pumping regularly and managing the waterman, salary, all of those. For that, they have to fix a little tariff from the community, from the households. So maybe it's more of fixed cost, like 30 rupees, 40 rupees, maybe less than $1. per month like. So that is depending on the how many families in the village, in the Gram Panchayat. So what is the total expenditure? Maybe if then maybe meet that expenditure, they go for little and they share the cost the village level. That's how the operation system. So majorly capital cost supported by the government. Yeah.
And is there any mandates around metering? Is that it sounds like that's a state by state decision, but what are you seeing in terms of trends or not for metering and tariffs?
It is picking up in the case of Kerala. Almost you have wherever they have given connection, it is almost 100% metering now. And in the state of Goa, it is already metered. And now Karnataka is getting implemented. All the other states still it is in the beginning stage. Yeah, metering slowly picking up. So rest of the state, more of Gram Panchayat is taking a decision and stop metering. So maybe they rationalize the water. Maybe morning 1 hour or 2 hours, evening 2 hours. Then they manage how much what is the total electricity bill, what is the wages for the waterman, and maybe so all those what are the minimum operation maintenance cost. Based on the expenditure, then they generate a revenue. So they fix the tariff for the family wise, not metered one, but for family this much like. So that's all. But slowly the metering concept is picking up. So now Kerala, I have mentioned, Goa, now Karnataka is doing it. So all the other states slowly also picking up. Yes. But it takes one time. It's more of state decision to whether to go for metering, because some state they say that access to water is free. We should not charge for money like. So that is there. So, but anyway, the production and maintenance management involves little cost. They have to understand and yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I was curious if there's more to say on that, because I'm guessing, the states that might be resistant to metering at the moment for political reasons are probably seeing the cost of supply going up quite a bit with more customers, more power, more pipe, so it's gonna do you have any comment, anything further to add on that?
So for example, maybe so what happened in one of the village down south in one particular Gram Panchayat, because everything free, you have installed water system and maybe water available, so pump water whenever you want like. So a lot of water, maybe then at the end of the month they found that electricity bill is beyond the control, like then they have to spend more money for electricity. Immediately they came together together. No, this is not the way. We need to rationalize. Morning 1 hour, evening 1 hour. Now we are not going for 24/7. Like we are wasting a lot of water. So you avoid wastage as well as you have to cut down the cost of electricity. Like so, Gram Panchayat make that decision as of now. So definitely, so metering is picking up. So definitely, that's the way to go forward, right? Yeah, because production, so water production it involve cost. Operation maintenance involve cost. At least you need to recover, at least not the capital cost you are recovering, at least you need operation and maintenance cost you need to recover. That way, so metering is critical. So urban area, most majority of the state it is metered. Only rural, it is slowly picking up. So few states already started, maybe rest also will follow slowly. Yeah, but for as you mentioned, it's a political statement, right? So some states wanted to say, water is free, we will give free water to you. Like
So the who would normally pay for the electricity cost for pumping for a multi-village scheme? Is that a Gram Panchayat level, or is that the water district operator? And that
that is more of the responsibility. So the for example, the state to state it vary. For example, in Tamil Nadu, if you take Tamil Nadu, one of the states down south, so the multi-village scheme, the suction or treatment and transportation up to the entrance of the Gram Panchayat level, it is the responsibility of Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board. That's a board separate. Then maybe then taking the water from there and maybe distribution over a tank and distribution system in the responsibility of Gram Panchayat. So the first part is managed by Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board. They're managed. And so for that also they charge little money from the Gram Panchayat for that. Like so that's how it is, the system. Yeah.
And you made the comment before around the guidelines. I was curious if the Wash Institute had any input into those guidelines that you're saying that were done quite nicely. Yeah.
So there's a lot of consultation, not only WAS Institute, there are many people. So when the draft was happening and maybe involved the consultation meeting, very many development partners also participated and gave suggestions, input. Finally, government came up with, not only WAS Institute, many people involved in the process of drafting it. Yeah.
You've partly answered this question anyway, but I'm wondering if there's anything more to say on the levels of, top-down communication and bottom-up communication and alignment. It sounds like the guidelines accounted for that very well, but I'm curious if you've got anything further to say on how those flows, vertical flows and horizontal flows are working or not in different cases.
Normally, so because guidelines actually, even though a few experts come together, put a few points together, at the end of the day, it goes through several rounds of consultation meeting. State, regional consultation, state consultation, and like-minded NGOs call for a discussion and maybe reviewing the guidelines, giving feedback. And also maybe they place the guidelines in the ministry website for some time. People can give feedback. So it is considered all aspects, right? Because it's capturing all feedback. It is not only the top down, it is bottom up. People, what they feel it should be reflected on the guidelines, like. Government ensures that that kind of input is coming to the guidelines and getting incorporated. Otherwise, because you have come up with a theory and maybe it is not meeting the ground requirement, there is no point. So government is clear. Definitely, we need to have people voices. Their input is important to go for a robust or maybe meaningful guidelines. That way, it is guidelines almost not only this water supply guidelines, even other guidelines also normally goes through the process, right? So state consultation and the expert consultation, NGOs consultation is a different level. It happens. Finally, only it's getting finalized at government level. Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to take a step back and just ask about the directive that came from Modi around this and this, the political window that opened for this amazing change to happen, because sometimes those windows are small and a lot has to happen in terms of training and having the people on the ground to deliver. And I'm wondering if you've got anything to share about that period when, it became a priority and then, oh my God, God, we have all these things to do and people to train and systems to put in place, and how that, if you have any reflections on that, on your experiences. Yeah.
So maybe if you, I don't know, globally, if you look at maybe any prime ministers maybe coming to the national level diets and speaking about access to toilet, right? So imagine that, right? That one statement in 2014, Honorable Prime Minister Modi spoke in Red Fort and on the platform saying that everyone should have access to toilet. Prime Minister himself talking about people are defecating open, we should provide a toilet facility like that. Maybe, it is something because no leader spoke in that level, like it attracted everyone. And after that mission, then it become a movement in the country. Now 2019, 2014 he spoke, 2019 we declare open defecation free status in the country within 5 years span. So earlier, before start of that one, it was 34% only coverage. And maybe so 2019 we reached to 100%. That level of, the commitment political level. He spoke and maybe gave that space and freedom and also dedicated budget, and he set up a mission. Then later, after that, it's all responsibility of the mission to come up with the appropriate guidelines and maybe getting state consultation and making sure that the money is spent in the right way to achieve the intended results. Prime Minister, and every month, I was told that every month he called the secretaries for a feedback. So what's happening? How the scheme progressing? What is the latest progress level? Where are the challenges like? That level of monitoring also happening at the Prime Minister office level. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So because,
it sounds like, it's been interesting, because some of the other countries we've spoken to, there might be a national commitment to this, but then the resources aren't there to follow it up as well, which sounds like it wasn't the case in India, and why in part why it was able to accelerate so quickly. Are there additional policies or mechanisms that you think would have helped or that are coming, that are needed now after this acceleration? I think whatever it might be, metered water supplies or integrated water management, other policies, I guess, that might be lacking or needed at this point to help further accelerate or consolidate or sustain, I guess, the changes.
So as of now, the current guidelines talks about access to, and also maybe by doing that you generate more grey water. We need to make sure that grey water also properly treated or reused and just dealing about. But as of now, because this access to piped water supply scheme by the rural community itself a great bigger task. Hence, it is not going beyond that point of integrated water resource management. Is there limited level, but it's not a comprehensive level, because as of now the focus is providing water. So maybe going forward, because the way things are happening, because we already mentioned that we have depend on more on the groundwater based system, and the climate change related impacts also may be emerging. You see everywhere drought and flood and those kind of situation happening. So maybe giving more focus around integrated water resource and water harvesting, reuse and recycling of wastewater, all those elements need to be given little more focus. Maybe after completion of mission, maybe government may be giving more importance around protecting the source, sustaining the source, so that the source yield continuous water to the scheme. If source failed, then the entire scheme failed, right? So that's how you sustain your water source. So for that, maybe integrated water resource and water harvesting. So all those elements may be getting picked up after maybe the mission period, end of mission period. I guess so. That's the area definitely I feel that need to be given. Maybe the coming months we need to give more importance around that. So, and climate change also going to be another major areas. And so equally, because we are talking only on water side, sanitation side also equally a lot of things happening. Mainly the surface water pollution happening because of fecal pollution. Most of the cities we don't have STPs and sewerage connection is not there. People use on-site sanitation system. At the end of the day, all this fecal sludge getting into water bodies and contamination. So the Swachh Bharat mission, the sanitation side is taking care of that element, right? Yeah, a lot of allocation to address those issues, promoting fecal sludge septic management, grey water management, is all getting focused around. A lot of investment happening in the sanitation sector side, so that your all bodies are prevented from pollution. Yeah, so both the missions are going parallelly. So that way, it's good that it's not only water and sanitation side, also how to prevent the water pollutions, like that is taken care from sanitation side. At this level, only what is missing element is maybe going forward the integrated water source sustainability feature what is going to happen due to climate change. Are we ready to face that kind of situation? Those elements maybe need to be given little more focus around. Yeah.
Are there any emerging sustainability issues with Jal Jeevan Mission and systems under that? I mean, I know you mentioned climate change threats and just source integrity. Is there other threats, I guess, in terms of or trends that you're seeing around sustainability?
There are when you talk about drinking water supply sustainability, there are two major elements. One is source sustainability. The second part is infrastructure sustainability, right? So is managing the pipelines, the repairs, and maybe those elements. So that is already in focus, because government is providing a lot of skill development related training and maybe investment around, so that the local plumbers and the electricians getting trained, and they are oriented how to manage the local water supply schemes, like so. And also that is there, and in addition to that, every village is 5 to 6 women identified, and the government is through the local state government, they are getting trained on water quality monitoring and surveillance, another major area. So, and also maybe most of the cases, the field level test kit is distributed from the government side. So they're using the field test kit. They regularly monitor are they getting quality water, whether contamination taking place or not. Like if anything, maybe they report back to the nearby district lab, then district lab monitor and update the data. Again, water quality monitoring data also getting updated monthly basis at the government. Yeah, so that is already there. The source sustainability one aspect. Second is infrastructure sustainability. For that, the lot of skill training happening and water quality monitoring surveillance, village level, community based water quality monitoring surveillance system also taking place. Like, yeah. Only maybe I don't know. Maybe going forward, and so we have a test kit available. We have trained the human resource available. Whether the test kit or the reagents are getting replaced at regular interval, what is the flow? There are areas and challenges. Hope that will be still area need to be looked into. That should be addressed so that it is sustainable. It is regularly it's happening on ground. Like otherwise, one time or two times, as long as the chemical exists, they'll do. Then after that, stop doing it. Then it will not give any results. So you need to regularly replace the reagents in the test kit, field test kit. That's the area. Yeah.
Who's the next level who supports that kind of village level operation and maintenance? Is that a Gram Panchayat responsibility that would do that? Say, for example, give that training, or is it at the water district, state water district level? Or
yeah. So it's a more majorly it's a responsibility at the operation maintenance, a responsibility at the Gram Panchayat level. So that's why maybe it's a lot of training getting organized. So both on operation maintenance side as well as for the water quality monitoring and surveillance, and also bookkeeping. How much, what is the income generated, what is the expenditure? That kind of training also takes place because Gram Panchayat manages the supply scheme, right? Everything. What's the so yeah, that is there. And maybe so once a while, regularly at district level, district collector conduct a review meeting with the concerned official and Gram Panchayat. How the scheme, what are the challenges, do we need any support kind. So maybe it is not only the Gram Panchayat level, all the Gram Panchayat coming together and the collector leadership and also district collector also taking a review and monitoring the schemes. Like so, it's a system built in. Yeah. So yeah. So the government is focusing around so that so provision and mission is okay. Mission period is 5 years. Even up beyond the mission period, the system, whatever created, should function and it serve intended purpose sustainably. So for that, the local institution building is a critical element that is well understood, and that's what maybe the government of India under Jal Jeevan Mission spending a lot of money on information, education, and communication side, maybe skill building side, capacity building side. So a lot of dedicated resources available for that purpose.
I was going to ask if you've seen any research on the skill demand or capacity gaps or capacity increases, if there's if the Wash Institute or others have done any research in that, because again, I guess there must be a massive increase in terms of the expertise that are needed and the number of people and the skills that they might need. It's probably changed quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of things, but I haven't come across any such report. Maybe I need to check with the government friends. And as of now, I haven't come across any report, but there is a discussion that there is a level of demand for skilled personnel, particularly plumber and electrician and the mega. So it's all now by-product supply depend on pumping, right? The pump repair, maintenance, leakages, all sort of aspect, right? Non-revenue water. How do you avoid non-revenue water, right? So that's the area getting focused. Now I think the skill ministry also coming into place and trying to identify 3 months or 6 month courses around plumbing and electrician and maybe enabling them to do the job role. Like that is a lot of things happening. But maybe what is the gap, demand versus supply level? I haven't come across any document. Maybe it's a good area to think about. Right. We did a gap assessment long back, but not on this area. But Wash Institute did a study long back before That's why I led to Wash Institute formation. Actually, we did a assessment across the country how the government engineers are, where from they are getting trained, how they are landing the emergency use. So all those areas, then we did a national level study. We found that there are a lot of gaps for short and long-term training programs. Like that's how we years back. That's why we formed WAS Institute. There is a lot of demand for training and capacity building. We should go for it. Like, but yeah, this is a good area for skill demand versus supply. Maybe there must be some doctors available. I may not be aware of it, but let me check. Maybe if it is available, like, yeah.
Sure, I haven't looked either. Anyway, that's good to know. And has the role of village water committees changed significantly? Like, do they still have a role in household pipe schemes, or is it? Yeah.
So village water sanitation, because the government guidelines, if you go through the guidelines, it's very clear, right? So you have so they have to come up with the village action plan. Village action plan, it indicate that whether we need to go for a single village scheme or multi-village scheme. If it is existing scheme available, they can go for single village, or they have to depend on outside support. So all those things, what is the skill set available within the village? What is the resources? Whether the existing water sources is sustainable? All those elements, maybe it is the responsibility of that village water and sanitation committee, which is also Gram Panchayat also part of that committee. They do that assessment, and the entire implementation of the scheme run through them. They are the one monitor, supervise, and implement. They are the one take decision of how much a tariff we should be fixing for each household for operation maintenance. So all those roles falls under village water and sanitation committee, which is part of Gram Panchayat is part of that committee as well. Yeah.
So it's somewhat similar. It sounds similar to what, if it was a point source or a communal supply, they would, my experience, they have a similar sort of role, but it's probably accelerated somewhat with more users to kind of consider or more usage. Yeah.
Because whether whether multi-village scheme or single village scheme source is located within the village. Multi-village scheme only the water is coming outside village, but again at the end of the water entered the village is the responsibility of village water and sanitation committee and Gram Panchayat. Yeah, so that it is, for them it is, it's one. So.
And what I think you might have mentioned this earlier, okay, but what responsibilities do the users have when a new scheme comes in terms of financial contribution? I know you're alluding to having a village action plan in place, but when a new system is being brought to a community, do they need to make a financial contribution to that capital cost, and are people making that financial contribution as well?
So not exactly, because everything, it's maybe state and central government is providing that share, and maybe so village, so they're taking the pipeline to the doorstep is the part of the scheme only. In case your house is little far, it is the part of away from the main street and things like that, maybe it may involve extra cost. That maybe is the local panchayat decision whether we need to spend extra something need to be charged from. Otherwise, it is within the scheme. In the case of rural, I don't think any of the family members contributing money for getting the scheme. In the urban, it's different. So urban, the pipe comes to your street, then maybe taking the pipe from the street to your house. That is your responsibility. And maybe putting that stand post and everything, your responsibility, right? So for that, there is a fixed fee. Maybe it's each town panchayat or the corporations, the rate varies from 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. But in the case of rural, it is not the case. So it is a free one. Yeah, provision. Capital investment is free one.
That's great. We've got through a lot, actually. Most of the questions I had. One more is in terms of prioritizing where schemes are installed within both a state and then again within a particular district. Like, who has the power to decide, okay, we're starting with village A and then village B, then village C, or within the village, we're starting with household A, household B, household,
So it is maybe, again, it is allocation wise, maybe priority get maybe little, but maybe the flow is right. The village water sanitation committee. So they, within the village, they come up with a village action plan. So there is a dedicated template available. They fill the template based on the existing situation in the village. Then through Gram Panchayat, they submit to the district collector office. Then district collector office, all the Gram Panchayat, the data getting compiled. The based on the money available, the critical in nature, which village, maybe the demand wise, maybe there is no water, maybe that some village, some level of water available, it can wait for maybe 6 months later, like. So based on the money available, that priority, they do in that meeting, then get, picked up. It is maybe, so at the end of the day, government want to go for 100% coverage. But maybe, but the mission period is 5 years. Maybe now it's difficult to one go doing in all the villages. It's also very difficult. Then based on the demand and need, the village get prioritized. Okay, this Gram Panchayat, the immediate need is higher. Let us focus this X village first, then go to the Y village maybe after 3 months, after 6 months, like that priority based on availability. The district administration, then they make the decision. All this village action plans compile at the district level, then district submit this report to the state, then state submit to the national level. So that's how the money also flow in that way only.
Last few questions. Are there mandates or guidelines around the service quality? I know we've spoken about water quality, but regularity of supply, speed of repairs, etc. How is that managed?
Guidelines available on water quality and surveillance. So that's what maybe I mentioned. Maybe water quality every year before monsoon, after monsoon, definitely the fecal coliform test should be carried out. At least once a year, all the maybe 13, 14 parameters, the key parameters need to be tested. So maybe that's what each village, Gram Panchayat, at least 5 women should be trained on water testing using field test kit, water quality testing. So not only testing of water quality and also surveillance. Is there any for toilet or septic tank close to the water source? Is any leaching takes place? Any water stagnation around? The sanitary surveillance also, it is a responsibility of the village water and sanitation committee. So all those the water sanitation committees get trained on those aspects. There is a dedicated template available for them to monitor and maintain. Yeah, so it's a clear guideline. And the IS, we have a separate standard for Indian government standard, IS standard 10500, that describe about water quality standards here. Yeah.
Is it the same for urban and rural, the water quality standards?
Yep. Standardizing for urban and rural. Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about in terms of downtime and repair speed or regularity of supply? Is it 24? Has to be 24/7 or 12 hours a day is okay? Yeah, is there guidelines around that? Yeah.
Yeah, so 24/7, a lot of discussion going on, but still village level water supply still it is not 24/7, but it is in the hands of village panchayat. They want, whenever they want, they can always open the tap and maybe release the water. But yeah, naturally it is maybe morning 2 hours, 3 hours, so maybe evening 2 hours people. So the daytime they go for work almost most of the things, right? When people are water supply. It is all local village and water sanitation committee take that decision whether morning how many hours, evening how many hours supply we should be giving it. So that is taken by the village water sanitation committee. Maybe holidays means maybe flexible timing. So those kind of the decision they make. It is not strict one village to other, like it is vary from place to place. Local decision. But as far as my knowledge goes, it's not 24/7. No way. So it is still.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And in terms of accountability around, so if I'm a user and my, I notice my water quality has degraded for whatever reason, who is typically accountable for, what mechanisms do they have, I guess, users to escalate? What's their pathways around that?
So one thing is because whether I'm getting adequate quantity, whether the quality of water coming to my, so quality is adequate, so quality is good. Those any difficulty of getting the right quantity of water or quality, or the pressure is not coming in right, then they report in the Gram Panchayat. So the Gram Panchayat and the water and sanitation president, secretary, they come together and discuss, then maybe assess what is the problem. Then maybe is there any pipeline, or maybe is there any problem in the pressure. or somewhere illegally tapping water. So they'll address the issues. Yeah, it is in case any major breakdown outside, because the multi-village scheme, maybe the inlet itself a problem, it's not enough water coming to the storage tank, then naturally they report to the district administration, to our board headquarters. So there, then maybe the respective the junior engineer or assistant engineer who's responsible for that scheme. So it is escalated to his level, so his or her level, so to address the issues. So it's majorly the Gram Panchayat. So mostly they report in the Gram Panchayat. The household assignment, I report to Gram Panchayat. This is a problem. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. And last question, is there any contention between agricultural water use and domestic water use in terms of, I'm not sure, I guess maybe for a either legal connections from a domestic scheme to be used for agricultural or competition around, water access or, water sources, etc. Yeah. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, so naturally, because agriculture, but always priority for drinking water only. So no doubt, maybe drinking water never diverted to agriculture. There is no case. I haven't come across any such cases across. So now always because drinking water, dedicated water, it's a treated water for the community for drink. So they will not get diverted. But when you go for village based schemes, because some of the states electricity is free for agriculture. So they can take a deep borewell, they can pump water whenever they want, right? So then maybe naturally we are pumping water maybe for the drinking water borewell and the agriculture borewell close by. Then you extract water. Sometimes it may affect the yield of this drinking water borewell. So that's what government make clear guidelines around. In case drinking water sources, the agriculture borewell should be there is a prescribed limit. You should not have agriculture borewell close to drinking water source line. There is a clear cut guidelines available. You can't drill a bore for agriculture close by. You can't pump whenever you want, like. So that kind of guidelines. That way they are preventing. But yeah, so agriculture, it is a major consumer of fresh water, no doubt. That will some states need free electricity. That add, again, maybe the government thinking that maybe we are subsidizing mainly for poor farmers get benefited. So by pumping water so that they can cultivate. But majority of cases, farmers not in a position to go for a deep borewell and drill like majorly medium and big farmer get benefited out of this policy than the small farmer. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. Because
thank you so much. That was all the questions I had to ask. I guess if there was anything that you wanted to share that you think I should have asked and didn't, or anything to add from what has been covered.
So maybe it's a progressing. Yeah, it's a lot of hope the scheme, the way planned, it's getting implemented. So as of now, maybe the government, the latest statistics indicate that 76% coverage. Still maybe another 24, particularly for the people in the remote villages or tribal villages and those kind of areas, how the byproduct scheme going to work for them, how we get water. Still maybe the last mile coverage is going to be a bit of a challenge. Maybe we are all looking forward that remaining the 25%, how it is going to be addressed in a period of 1 to 1.5 years. Like that's the area we need to look into. That challenges. It's a challenge as well. It is not easy. Maybe all we can do. There are some difficult areas, hilly and tribal villages where the source is not there. People live on the top of the hill, maybe source, maybe in the valley. How you are going to take water? Maybe those kind of remote villages going to be a bit of a challenges. So I think all those will fall in the remaining the 24% coverage level. Let's see how it is going to happen in the coming years.
Yeah.
We come across any good report also we can share, and maybe we need any information, data, please feel free to us.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I feel really blessed to have this conversation. I learned a lot, and you've been very generous. With what you've shared. It's been fascinating and really, really helpful too. So thanks so much to you and your team for your being available today for for
Thanks.
sharing. Yeah.
Maybe Gaurav will give you the government guidelines links. Maybe you
That'd be
can also
great.
download
That sounds, yeah,
the water
that'll be
quality
great.
and Jal Jeevan missions guidelines and water quality guidelines. Those links we can share so that you
Yeah.
can download. You can go through the document as well. Maybe.
Frameworks and reforms that were
Yeah,
there, I
but-
can share
yeah.
with you. So
Yeah.
that will be.
That'd be great. Thank you, Gaurav. Yeah, I haven't done, it's mainly, I've started with the interviews rather than the literature review for this. So that'd be great to circle back and look at that. So thank you. Good. Well, thank you both, gentlemen, for your time today. Much appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as I said, I'll be in touch when the draft's progressing to share the draft report with you and your team too.
In between, if you need any data, any information, feel free to call us. Not a problem. We can
Thank
schedule a
you.
meeting. If you need anything, please feel free. No problem.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.